So a subscriber on YouTube asked me if I would do a review on my SWR specwar, and so I said, why not? We're gonna do a simple walkthrough, and then we'll shoot with it. Obviously, you want to see this thing in action, so I'll try not to make this segment too long. So it has a black oxide finish. Legitimately, it will rust. If you aren't careful, what I do is I shoot this thing, and then I take a little cloth with some frog lube, the paste, and I just lightly paste. I put the frog lube in it. The frog lube holds into the black oxide, and eventually, it burns off a little bit. It feels good now. It's not sticky. When I shoot it, it gets wet. Well, it has a wet look to it. But it's got just that enough on it to keep it from rusting. But also feels like there's almost none, so you can touch it with your bare hands. Here's the locking mechanism. You thread this on, and then you can see in some areas where this cap is thinner and thicker, and as this cams around, it pushes this and this piece in, and they grab onto the suppressor's muzzle brake, and that's what keeps it from rotating off. I've thought about, on the collar itself, laser engraving on and off. If you can see, they have unlock this way, lock this way. It'd just be nice to have it on the collar. I never did get around to that. You could also Cerakote this. I don't like Cerakote. I prefer KG ceramic coat. And I've thought about doing that, but I don't know. I'm satisfied with just a tiny little bit of frog lube or something on it. I don't ever take this suppressor off. I run it on a 11.5 inch upper. I call it a mutt upper. It's Spike's Gen 2 billet upper, Daniel Defense barrel, and piston system. Excuse me, a Adams Arms barrel and piston system with a Daniel Defense Light 2 handguard. And I never take this off. I don't see the need to. I got this when pretty much they first came out, and I honestly don't even know if the first baffle in this is stellite, or if I doubt it has the whole stellite core like they do now. But I'm not even sure if the first baffle is stellite, because at first I think the first couple of them were like stainless or something. And then they went to a blast stellite baffle, and then they went to an all stellite core. And I really don't know. I've called about it before, and I've emailed them, and I've got mixed answers based on my serial number. Some say just a stellite blast baffle. Some have told me full stellite core, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I really don't know. I was going to get the box for you, but I can't find it. So I can't show you what it came with. It came with the flash hider, the 3-prong brake, which I immediately pretty much got rid of for the I can't even think. I got rid of the flash hider for the muzzle brake, need a sip of Sprite there. All in all, its suppression level's good, but I do not care for the locking system. And the reason being, depending on how hard you thread this on, you could thread it on and just normally thread it until it stops, and you could try the lock, and it will be extremely hard to lock it shut. And then you could take it off, thread it back on, and the lock collar will go easy. And what I'm afraid of, or what I'm unsure of, is I think when it goes on hard, your teeth are hitting each other. And then I think when it goes on easy, you've got the lock. I don't know, and I used to hate having to take it on and off, on and off, on and off, just to make sure I got an easy lock, because I always feel like if it's tight, if the collar's tight, your teeth are biting each other and not fitting in the triangular. So that is the only reason I don't like the locking system. I've never had it come loose, nothing like that. When I mount it on and I leave it on, I don't ever take it off except cleaning. And so now that the fun of taking it on and off is over with, the lock system don't bother me now as much as it used to. For that reason, I just mount it on and leave it on, and it doesn't come off for probably 1,000 rounds, or unless I'm bored and want to clean the gun. I also don't know if you can shoot this wet. I have seen videos of Surefires and other rifle 5.56, 308 rifle cans being shot wet, but I don't know if you can introduce a little bit of water into this or not. I will say, excuse me, that I used to, when I would wipe this out, the first baffle, and I would use I put a little frog lube paste down inside, and I put paste on my brake, and obviously that paste turns into a liquid when it gets hot, so but I don't clean the inside of this thing, just wipe the outside and make sure that the lock and the collar and the threads and everything on the inside are clean of carbon. But with that said, let's go outside and we can shoot this thing. Alright, so I got earplugs in because we're going to go without the suppressor first. I'm sure, you know, that's what you all want to hear. And again, 11.5 inch. Adams Arms piston. And let's see if I can okay. Well, here's the brake. I'm sure you can look that up on their website. This brake is fun. Fun in a way where this brake beats the shit out of you. I mean, it really blasts. The very first time I shot this gun with the brake on, I thought I blew the gun up or possibly broke my teeth. And you'll see why in just a sec. So we'll take a couple shots with and without the brake, and I'll let you check that out. My God. That fucking brake just fucking... it just fucking beats you. It is fucking crazy. Now, I don't know, because the subscriber that asked me to do this review is going to run this on a 16-inch gun. And I don't know if this brake will do that on the 16-inch gun, but I got the brake for two reasons. Recoil mitigation. I know, not a lot of recoil on 5.56, but everyone wants to shoot flat. Recoil mitigation, and I want the brake to act as sort of a first blast baffle. And that's why I went with the brake over the flash hider. I've shot the suppressor at night. Maybe the first round, a little bit of flash out of the end of the suppressor. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't on the first round. Other than that, no flash. So I actually want to shoot this brake a little bit more. So let's try it. Oh, it's so cool. Okay, now, when I go to the suppressor, and I lock that bitch on, I've got to switch my piston over. Take out my plugs. To me, for my ears, I just feel like I don't get no ringing. So this is, to me, this is a hearing safe suppressor, but okay, let's try. All that pounding from the brake is gone. And I feel recoil mitigation, but mostly from the brake, because while the brake doesn't give me any uncontrollable recoil, but the impulse coming off of the brake on this 11.5-inch gun, I cannot say you'll have the same results on anything longer. But when you shoot this brake, it startles the fuck out of you. It startles you. Suppressor on, I feel none of that impulse. Everything feels straight back. And the suppressor is so pleasant to the ears. And this is a direct 5.56. I wanted a direct can. I didn't want to get the 7.62 and swap. The suppression level is it's just undescribable how good it is. And even out in the cold, in the winter, usually when I shoot in the winter, I feel like everything is louder. And I don't know why that is. Maybe that's just me, but I just feel like when I shoot, it just, I don't know, maybe it's the sound bounces off all these trees or what, but when I shoot in the summertime, it doesn't seem as loud. In general, I'm not talking suppressed. Like if I shoot a handgun or whatever. But when I put that suppressor on in the wintertime and the summertime, it's a beautiful thing. Like, got friggin' carbon coming out of the piston, and it fucking gets on your hands, but but at the time when I got this, everyone was raving about it, you know, just wow, the suppression level, you know, it's better than the M4 2000, it's better than the Knights can, it is smoking surefire cans, you know, all these reviews. And And I'm like, all right, cool. I hope it's not too much, because price really does drive me on what I get. And so when I went and I looked, and I'm like, wow, $500. I bought the fucker like that. And it took me 13 months to get it. It was in NFA jail for 13 months, and now that I have it, I don't think much about it. But at the time, I was really, like everyone else, I was just really anxious to get it. I got it, I shot it, and it's just, I would never, to this day, that I got this can like 3, maybe 4 years ago, to this day, the only thing that I would put over this can, I would love to try the specwar 556K. But outside of that, there's no other can that I would remotely get rid of this for. There are cool new innovations coming out. Like I just got that Sandman S, and I think a Sandman in, well, I don't know if they make them in 556. I just think they make them in 30 cal so that you can, swap them around. But the reason I didn't do that, I wanted dedicated 556 because I wanted the utmost performance. And I didn't want like that 30 caliber hole in the baffles to maybe let a little bit slip past. I went direct 556 because that's just, at the time, this is the only AR I had, and I just wanted to have the absolute best suppression that I could get. And I wasn't worried about swapping to an AR-10. I wasn't worried about, at that time, swapping over to my MSG-90. I wasn't worried about that. I wanted just a direct can. So, anyway, let me switch camera angles, give you a little bit different look at this, and from a different angle, and then we'll wrap up the video. Well, I had to switch to a Samsung Galaxy because my phone hates the cold and it just randomly shuts off, but it is what it is. So, different angle, we'll try some more suppressed fire and then probably wrap it up. So, here we go. Well, I thought I had more than that, but whatever. So, it's actually not that hot. It's actually really nice, warm my hands on it. Oh, boy, does that feel good. It's a great can. I'm going to put it to you like that. I really enjoy it. I think for the price, it's a steal. Again, I got this for an easy 3-4 years ago. I don't know what today's technology has to offer, but if this suppressor is still on the market, and if the price is still around 500 or 550, I think it's a fantastic deal. Again, I don't know what else is out there now because I have a 556 can. I don't keep up with what's new. When I got the 308 can, I had to see what was going on in the 30 cal can world, and that's why I chose what I chose. But whoever watches this, it's really up to you. There's nothing besides when I used to take it off, that was the only thing I had an issue with, was the locking mechanism. And when you get something new, you take it on, you put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off. It's just, that's just what you do. You like to fuck with that shit, And at that time, I thought to myself, I don't care for the locking system so much. Now that I just put it on and I leave it on and it never comes off except for cleaning,
I say to myself, locking mechanism is not going to make me. If I went back and I had the choice to do it over again, I would do it again, because what the performance that this suppressor brings to the table for the price I got it for is unbelievable. At the time, I think the suppress level was right down around 130 decimals, give or take. And like the M4 2000 was like 135, 136, and the suppressor or the Surefire was like 138, 140, which was crazy. Um, and then other ones out there were close to the 130. They were like 133, 134-ish decimals. And but also most of these suppressors, I gave 5 or 550 for mine, and everything else in the market was like 6, 7, 8, 9. The Surefires were like 12, 13, 14. And when this suppressor is outperforming those suppressors, uh, I just got all excited. Someone's gonna say to me, well, "What about gas in the face? Do you get a lot of gas in the face? What's the back pressure like?" Well, I'm going to put it to you like this. I run a piston system, so most everything goes out the front. And you can see that where I grab my gun out through the handguard, and I get that. Do I get a little gas in the face? I still do get... I can smell the aroma of the gunpowder. I'll put it to you that way. And it's extremely bad with Tula ammunition. Matter of fact, maybe after about a mag of Tula, I'm ready to gag. It's just that's the way that ammo is. And I've shot that on direct impingements too, and it's the same way. So do I get sometimes I do. So sometimes, depending, it's all ammunition depending. Some ammunitions I get a little stinging in the eye from that gas, like my eye kind of waters. Now, maybe other suppressors like the M4 2000 or something, maybe they mitigate that a lot, and that's why they maybe be more expensive. But again, everything I've went through, I would still buy this before I'd buy anything else. So keep that in mind. And I really, truly would recommend that if you get this suppressor, buy the brake. Personally, ditch the flash hider. That's how I feel. Now, there are people out there, you're flash hider nutty, and you like them, and that's okay. But personally, I feel like ditch the flash hider, get the brake, let it be a semi-first blast baffle, and because once you get a quick detached suppressor, when are you ever going to shoot without it? Chances are not really ever. As a matter of fact, when I shot this today without it, that was probably the first time I've shot without it in 6 months to a year. And I had the same experience all over again when I shot it. I took that first shot, maybe the first 2 shots, and I'm like, wow, this brake is a fucking wild animal. And I mean, I love it. I like it, but it shocked me again, even though I'm used to that's what it's going to do. So that's about the best I can do on a review for you. I probably haven't answered any more or less questions than other reviewers out there, and these suppressors have been out for a while. And I'm sure there's someone who goes into more in depth about about gas in the face and about recoil mitigation or whatever. But I can put it to you like this: when I shoot this gun, I guess the most simplest way I can say it is when I shoot this gun with a suppressor on, it feels like a jacked up BB gun. I guess maybe a more accurate way to explain it would be, it feels like shooting a Ruger 1022, and an unsuppressed Ruger 1022, and that's great. It's great. I mean, if I take women shooting or whatever, the suppressor just really, they get to feel that much more comfortable. So But that's really all I got. I mean, I don't have anything super exciting to say other than if you've already bought one and you're waiting on it to come out of jail, then you made a pretty good decision. And on anything longer than 11 and a half inches, I'm sure it's going to feel more tame than what mine feels, and mine feels pretty mellow. So, take it for what it's worth, and I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. So, thanks a lot.